Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bongani Shiba of Walk Tall with Shiba, the show that seeks to inspire and motivate others. Today's topic is going to be on relationships. We are going to be talking specifically about dating. The panel that I have today here is tailor-made to discuss stuff like that. It is not as serious as we have been, and we are grateful to Solani's. We are in their purple room, Solani's Lounge in Babane. The panel for today is made up of people that you know and love, and a marriage counselor himself. I'll start with him as he is the most senior looking at this point in time. Pastor Carlos from Winners Chapel. He is a pastor and he is also a marriage counselor. Even though we're not talking marriage, relationships, dating lead to marriage, and he might give us some insight onto what to look out for, what to fix, what to take out of our relationships to make sure that we are perfect for marriage when the time comes. And then, of course, ladies first, we have the songbird, the lady with the voice that makes butterflies come to my stomach. This is Nomalungelo. Nomalungelo is going to be talking on behalf of single ladies, and luckily, hopefully, she can also tell us what she is looking for in a guy. And on the other end, we have the gentleman, the Black Superman himself, courtesy of hip hop. He also is an eligible single man, and hopefully he is going to make us also understand what men want in a relationship. So let's start with the lady. Nomalunga, please tell us what you think about love.
Love is God. I think the problem is when we don't share the same perception of what God is.
Hey, okay. So there's more than one God.
There's more ways of interacting and believing in God.
Beginning of all things is actually God himself, who happens to be love. Well, we can take it and begin to define love from different perspectives. We have people who have defined, dividing it into about agape love, filial love, which is a relationship within family members. But you see, at the end of the day, the base of love is actually God himself. And the Bible says God is love. And just like she said, if we are able to understand the dimension of love from God, then everything we call love will move on smoothly at the end of the day. I believe that is too my definition of love. Love is God himself.
You have a different idea, sir?
Love is what takes care of the smallest, the largest, and everything in between. The baddest, the goodest, and everything in between. That for me is what love is. There's no selection, no segregation. There's nothing that exists outside of love.
Of course, love is what we would say is the basis of relationships. I don't think you can get into a relationship if there is no love. Yeah. I'm not going to say love for each other because there might be love for something
else. Yeah.
But hey, let's see. I'm seeing a lot of single people around. There's marriage, but it's not as abundant as it used to be, Pastor. Maybe I'm wrong. Yeah, maybe I'm just living with people that like to be single. Why?
Talking about marriages which we expected maybe they are supposed to have been working very well, but if you look at them like something is amiss, just like in the ordinary, and this is my own definition, when you go buy, for example, a television, and there is always a manual that is inside there, which actually gives you guidance on how you're supposed to manage it or operate it. Anything outside that, then at the end of the day, there will be the television might end up malfunctioning because you didn't follow the ones who manufactured it as in prescription. The same to marriage. The truth is, at the end of the day, marriage was begun by God himself, and he has given us principles, guidelines on how, whether we want to do it, should I call it from church level, out of the church, as long as we are able to go back to the base of the principles of operating of that marriage, then those marriages will work.
We're trying to be or do everything at once. From where I stand, and just in my circle, what I'm noticing is the fact that in the wake of this whole individuality movement. People are going into relationship, which is the union or unity of two people, with the mindset of singleness. And the mindset of singleness says, this is about me.
I get mine.
What
I
do
get mine.
What am I
You know what I
getting
mean?
out of this?
This is you know,
Yeah.
where somebody has these rigid rules about self. I don't do this. Me. This is how you. Me. And then you're going into a relationship which is we.
Yeah.
And
me,
and
me,
then
me, and we can't work.
they cannot work. So from where I stand, I'm seeing just a whole lot of that, where people are going into a relationship but with the mindset of singleness.
There has to be an element of understanding yourself. So in as much as you are not supposed to be getting into a dating situation thinking me, because that's where you stop being so selfish. You have to have an understanding of self. At the end of the day, you are a human, you are a spirit having a human experience. So if you don't have an understanding of the spirit that is inside you, you can't necessarily then share a perception of what relationships should be like if you don't understand yourself. It starts creating a funnel. You right? The moment you start understanding yourself, it starts creating a funnel where kuvele lolo tofana nawo lolo tofuna
Absolutely.
lolo kufunako.
Absolutely.
You understand when you know, okay, lokho anguthanzi, lokho angufuni, lokho angu wo wenda soqale kwenda lokho ayike lokho ngiyakubonga ngothi.
So then there's a filter now.
Then there's a filter, and the filter iyendeka mawuqala wena uthi understanda wena ukuthi mina ngifuna lokho angufuni ke lokho.
Okay. So actually, like now in line with what Nomalungelo is saying, part of the reason why relationships are not working is because we're just so quick to we're just supermarketing this whole thing and just
Happy
taking
ever after.
and picking random people and then all the filtering only then now happens when we're already cohabitating and whatnot. So people, when you look at the success rate of relationships right now, it's like at an all-time low.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Even when it comes to marriage, which is like the ultimate goal, one in every two relationships, or rather one in every two marriages ends up in divorce. And that's like a shocking stat. 50%. That's a shocking stat. But it starts from you know, and one guy says the prerequisite for a divorce is singleness.
Yeah.
If you haven't dealt with your singleness, if you haven't dealt with what is it that you are, if you haven't dealt with who you are first before you come into who we are, then that's where the problem is. How much time are you actually spending on just yourself? Where you switch off the television so you can tell your own vision, where you put away the phone, where you're not reading a book and not listening to music, because as long as you're spending time with somebody else, you are then now under somebody else's opinion.
At the end of the day, what is the motive of our dating? Do we want to get married at the end of the day? I was being given, I think, a story of someone who I think there was this girl, you know, in that big church, and she's like very tough. Nobody can be able to reach into her. And you see, there is this man who came into the church just as a new person and enter there because he has heard the story that it is difficult. You cannot even go through her. He stayed there for over 5 years and he ensured that he has gotten married to this girl. And you know, eventually after that marriage, it broke aside. The motive was, I want to be a champion.
I want to win.
To be known that at least me,
I've conquered
at the end of the day, you know.
But didn't try to get to know the girl.
It wasn't about
He got to know the girl, but you see, he has a motive in his heart of what he wants to achieve. I want to conquer, let everybody know that I am a man at the end of the day. She spoke something about when we get to date together, you know, it brings us together. I get to know your weakness, I get to know your strength, you know, all those things come into place. At the end of the day, when I'm making a final decision, you know, in the course of the process, I know this is the person I want to spend the rest of my life with, you know. So from that dimension, I think eventually you find like this is the person that I need. Of course, in the course of dating, all of us are coming from different places. You know, there is what you will see in a person, you know, this can be corrected, this one can be dropped. I discover one thing, that the more you stay with somebody, the more you get to know them.